Hello, my friends. I'm Bee, and this is Bee's Intuition. Today we're going to do a reading. This will be about what is Spirit about to reveal to you. Let's dive right in, shall we? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you going to be revealing for the collective? Please and thank you. I felt like it needed to come out. What are you going to be revealing for the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you revealing for the collective? One of these flipped over. Okay. Was there anything else? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you revealing to the collective? What are you revealing? Okay. Okay. So we have the 10 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck is the 4 of Swords. This may be like a side message, but I'm getting this feeling that maybe you've been working a lot. You've had a lot on your plate. You've been pushing through a lot. I think that Spirit wants to remind you to rest. Did that 4 of Swords at the bottom of the deck? Let's see. Let's dive in. Starting with that 10 of Wands. Let's clarify that. Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you revealing for the collective with that 10 of Wands? Please and thank you, Spirit. Okay, that's too many. I'll take that one because it felt separate. Anything else about this 10 of Wands? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you trying to reveal to the collective? Or what are you going to reveal? 10 of Wands. Okay, I think... Did any of these flip over? I thought one did, but... perhaps not. Having just one card for that 10 of Wands just doesn't sit right with me. So let's see. Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you revealing to the collective with this 10 of Wands to Star card? Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. We get a little bit more context now. Okay. So the 10 of Wands was clarified by the Star card and the 3 of Wands. And then bottom of the deck is the Ace of Pentacles. All right. So the 10 of Wands is a burdensome energy. The Star card feels strange being associated with that 10 of Wands energy. 3 of Wands, you know, that's looking towards the future here. Maybe you've just been healing from something that was really heavy and difficult for you to like manage or figure out. But the Star card feels, you know what, I might actually clarify the Star card because it feels like I'm not getting the full picture here. There's something about that Star card that I feel like needs exploring. Yeah. The Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, I wonder if there's going to be a new beginning for investment that's going to be less exhausting compared to whatever this was before. I'm just going to look at the bottom of the deck before, you know, clarifying the Star card. See what's underneath that Ace of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. Oh. This might be in relation to a relationship. So if you, that would make sense with the healing of the Star. Because it's like you've been overburdened by someone, potentially. Or maybe this is just like a cycle you've been going through. It's like you just attract partners that are a heaviness or an inconvenience to some extent. Like a work in progress even, where you feel like you have to like heal the other person perhaps. And that's putting like a whole lot of stress on you. A lot of burden. But it's like you're looking forward to the future because there's this new potential for investment here, and it has to do with the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles, I feel like that would be one of the kings that would show up to kind of help alleviate some of that weight off of you. Especially if you feel like you've been going through things on your own, difficult things. There could be somebody here who wants to kind of be your rock, be solid, be a support for you, especially if you're going through a trying time. It almost even feels like, because this mess of a 10 of Wands, you may not be completely seeing the future very clearly. Or maybe something will happen and then you'll start to see the future more clearly. Because it may be, it's almost like you're closing out cycles that were really heavy and burdensome. But then it's like you're coming into a new cycle, but you may not realize it yet. And so maybe you're worried about the worst case scenario playing out. I'm just curious what's underneath that King of Pentacles. High Priestess. So your intuition. So also, this could be somebody that's highly intuitive, this King of Pentacles here, that may be coming into your life. They could have a strong intuition, or you could both be spiritual. Yeah, it almost even feels like maybe you're more so embodying that star energy, and this King of Pentacles could be more embodying the High Priestess energy. Now that's interesting. But that would speak to like some sort of spiritual significance to this connection, which I already felt. And maybe that's something that binds the two of you together, or, draws you to one another, is because you feel like there's something really significant here. You might both be spiritual, and that could be a big deal for you. Especially if you're very spiritual. Because from personal experiences, not every partner is going to get it, Not every partner will understand that woo-woo stuff, or however you want to describe the esoteric here. But, not everybody believes in that sort of thing. But I feel like you could be attracting somebody that, although they're very practical and responsible and, pretty 3D based for the most part, it feels like they also have this other side of them that is very intuitive and spiritually tapped in. Okay, now let's clarify that star card. If we can get some additional messages about that star card, please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, what are you revealing to the collective? Please and thank you. Okay, now it's clicking. Let's click on. Okay, so the star card was clarified by the Hermit, the Queen of Cups, and then bottom of the deck is the Seven of Pentacles. So you have been healing. You took a step away from something here to focus on yourself, to focus your energy within, to focus on the energy within you. Maybe soul searching, trying to find the answers internally. Queen of Cups would even say that you've been trying to practice self-care, self-love. Healing wounds of the past is a huge part of self-care and self-love. You have a wisdom, but also a charismatic aura. Like, you're very eye-catching, but you're very wise at the same time. And I almost wonder if you're going to be called upon to embody both of those energies. Because the Star card, even though this feels like it definitely could be related to, maybe a new relationship on the horizon, but it feels like there's an undertone of something related to your career. And so maybe there's some sort of role that you're embodying here or taking on where you show off your wisdom and your charm, your charisma. And that could like open doors for you. Also, you could be doing this healing in private. Not really many people know what you have going on. Especially if you've been overburdened and feeling like the weight of the world on your shoulders recently. I feel like people from the outside don't really get a glimpse of that. And that may be pretty intentional on your part. You don't want everybody to be in your business. You don't want everybody to know that you're struggling. The Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, it almost feels like maybe you even, if there was some sort of love connection that, felt really burdensome and heavy, that you're trying to heal from, it feels like the Seven of Pentacles, maybe your work has been a really good outlet for you in terms of working through emotions, focusing on yourself, focusing on your own stability, your own 3D reality. And it feels like you could be doing this work behind the scenes too. So whether this is work on yourself internally or work in terms of your career, you've been doing something behind the scenes. You've been working at something. And I think it's going to pay off for you. Because we have two major arcana here. Star card and the Hermit. Aquarius and Virgo. Interesting energy. I just got the phrase, it doesn't keep me down for long. So I feel like maybe you're bouncing back from something that was pretty heavy. It feels like maybe you were feeling pretty down and bummed out, but things are switching here. Things are turning around and taking off into a new direction that maybe you didn't foresee. Also, it's interesting how the Queen of Cups, how I put it down, it is overlapping with the Three of Wands here. There's some sort of opportunity that has to do with, it could have something to do with your beauty, could have something to do with your heart, your kindness, or maybe your ability to fuel yourself, feed yourself, care for yourself, love yourself. These could be opening doors for you. I also am getting a sense of confidence from you, but it's something that maybe you've had to build up too, not something that's inherently there naturally, perhaps, or that it wasn't. I'm curious what's underneath the Seven of Pentacles. I also want to say that with that Seven of Pentacles, the hard work that you've been investing into something, all of that hard labor and the patience you've been displaying, that's not going to be in vain. I feel like that's actually going to be paying off for you. Let's see what's underneath. The Tower. Okay. So if you've been kind of in this phase of self-isolation, things taking a really long time before you see some sort of results or something, the Tower card could be coming in to shake things up for you, but in a positive way. I've been getting that kind of recurring message, I feel like, through my shorter readings that I do on YouTube Shorts, is like that idea of shaking out of this place of like self-isolation maybe, or doing things alone perhaps. Let's see what's underneath that Tower card. 9 of Pentacles underneath, which is great because we also have 9 of Pentacles here that we're going to be clarifying next. So 9 of Pentacles. So there is success here for you. And the Tower, that's a sudden change. Something you don't see coming. But Tower moments are always necessary to clear away the old energy and embrace the new. Also, the card after the Tower card is the Star card, which we already saw. So it almost feels like maybe there's something related to your healing or your path that's taking place here. It's like because you've made certain investments, they're paying off for you. And I feel like you're going to be going from a 7 of Pentacles here to the 9 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles is like, okay, I'm working really hard. I'm being patient. I'm having, I'm trusting the process, but I'm not seeing the results I want to see yet. Whereas the 9 of Pentacles is, I'm independent. I'm abundant. I really have things going for me here. A lot of stability, a lot of security, and a lot of peace. So if you've been experiencing some mental chaos, that could also be coming into a time of transformation. You could be entering a chapter in your life in which you feel less burdened mentally as well. It almost feels like something that you may have been stressed out about is going to be cleared up and you won't have to stress about it so much anymore. Could have something to do with your finances, but honestly, it could do with so many different things. Yeah. Okay, let's go on and clarify that 9 of Pentacles now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you revealing for the collective with that 9 of Pentacles? Please and thank you, Spirit. What's going on with that 9 of Pentacles? Please and thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Now they're all popping out. This is interesting. Oh, very interesting. I kind of like that. I think I like that a lot. Okay, so clarifying that 9 of Pentacles, we have, let me just rearrange the cards. Okay. We have the Strength card clarifying that 9 of Pentacles, as well as 8 of Cups, 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords, and then Death card, and then Queen of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, and then 10 of Cups. And then bottom of the deck, we have that Ace of Pentacles from earlier. Interesting. So this seems like some sort of reward for you for being so damn courageous and strong, even in the face of uncertainty. Because the 8 of Cups, you left things behind that were not fulfilling for you because you recognized your value, you recognized your worth and what you're worthy of. And you decided to live according to that, even if it meant leaving something behind that wasn't easy to leave behind, something that at one point meant a whole hell of a lot to you. But it came to a point where you eventually had to walk away. It feels like self-respect there. 5 of Swords, it could have even been a really toxic situation in which you were being very unfairly treated. Mind games could be something here. Or maybe it's like mental trauma from something. And then the 7 of Swords after that, sneaky people. I think that your intuition has heightened. And people that once may have once, triumphed, they don't get that opportunity anymore. Or if they think that they're very convincing, they don't really get as far as they think they can. I like this though. And it feels like, there's that infinity symbol above the head here. And I see it as like this card, I feel like, is telling us a lot about your strength of spirit. To believe that you're worthy of so much more. You're not going to deal with any sort of mistreatment, and you're definitely not going to put up with people that are trying to hide something from you or people that are deceptive. This could even be something where it's like from the outside looking in, it may even look kind of crazy or unexpected, because it almost feels like before people even get the chance to stab you in the back, you're already like clocking that and you're avoiding it. So it's like, it's interesting. Yeah, it's like you're avoiding these traps that are set for you by people that may not want the best for you. That's so interesting. But we also have the Strength card, so that's a major for Leo. Death card, Scorpio. And then we have Cups and Swords and Pentacles as well. Yeah. I do love that, the Eight of Cups, Five of Swords, Seven of Swords, all of that is followed by the Death card. So we're putting an end to all of that BS that you've experienced. We're shutting that down and we're starting something better. We're on to bigger and better. And then after that Death card comes the Queen of Pentacles. So if at any point you were doubting yourself, doubting your ability to create your own abundance, if you were doubting the decisions you've made in love, it could definitely be love related because of the Eight of Cups, or just any sort of decisions you've been making. It feels like these are good decisions, even if they have been difficult, or they didn't offer a reward directly or immediately. It feels like you're coming into a time of true peace and security within yourself and within your life. It feels comfortable. The Eight of Swords follows that Queen of Pentacles, and I think, the image here I really like because it's like her stepping away from the mental trap that she imprisoned herself with. So any sort of overthinking that's been holding you back, anything that's been making you feel stuck or trapped or imprisoned, it's like all falling away because you're recognizing that you have the power here and you have the power to control your own narrative. So it almost even feels like when you step into this Queen of Pentacles energy, you're going to recognize your own power as well. And then the Ten of Cups. So it's like, well, either when you are exiting out of that Eight of Swords energy of being stuck in your head, feeling trapped or stuck, either when you're doing that active work within you to move away from that, or after you've worked on that, moved through that. Ten of Cups. It's like you're on the fast track to your happily ever after. It definitely can be a card of love, romance, so maybe that's a part of it, but with the context here of the Nine of Pentacles and then the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like that Ten of Cups could be related to how you feel like you can provide that for yourself, your happily ever after. It feels very independent, even if there is love on the horizon, or like love is going on at the same time, it's definitely not a codependent or toxic connection because you're in a very healthy place. It almost feels like you know that you can support yourself now, even if you doubted it. And so you can set yourself up for happily ever after, whether that's with another person or not. And I think that's actually very empowering and very beautiful energy to embody. And it all started with the strength. So I feel like spirit is repaying or rewarding your strength, your courage, your patience, your ability to trust in the process. That's paying off for you. And you're going to be coming into some sort of success here. And it's going to make you feel very secure, very proud of yourself, aware of your own capabilities, and how you can shift things around so dramatically. You may even gain a reputation for somebody that, kind of does the impossible, or what most people consider to be impossible. Because it really feels like you flipped your story around and now you're on top, even though at one point you could have felt like you were at the bottom. It seems like things are going in a really positive direction for you here. And it's because of that internal work that you've done and been doing. And any sort of external work as well, but feels like it all started within. I feel like Spirit's very proud of you for that. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. And so there's like this new opportunity to invest into something. That's interesting. I'm getting invest in yourself. And again, it kind of loops back to that feeling of like, damn, I really am powerful. Damn, I really am capable of doing, amazing things. You start to recognize your own talent, skills, and abilities and how those are serving you. And it gives you maybe a renewed sense of love for yourself. And it helps you to feel more invested in the practices that you've already took on, such as practicing self-love, self-care. It feels like you're reinvesting into yourself, but it's so beautiful. And it doesn't feel selfish at all. It feels really healthy and strong. There also could be a new career opportunity on the horizon with that Ace of Pentacles as well. Some sort of new career opportunity to start investing in. I want to see what's underneath that. The Empress. Yeah. So, that's kind of funny because the Nine of Pentacles, some people view that as being like the pre-Empress energy. And that's what we're clarifying right now is the Nine of Pentacles. So you're coming into a time where you're bossing up. You're also looking very attractive. This could just be a side note, but you're going to be in a very fertile energy as well. So maybe, especially because I see that 10 of Cups and there's children there. Maybe just take precautions if that's not something you want in your immediate future. Because there could be maybe a risk of pregnancy here. But overall, you're just going to feel so good. And people are going to notice that you're feeling good about yourself. And I feel like it really feels like that kind of energy where it's like, because you're so happy, it becomes infectious. You may have one of those kinds of personalities where you really affect the room, with your vibes or your energy. And maybe you know this or maybe you don't know this yet. But it's like when you're happy, you make other people happy too. You're feeling so much more confident too when you enter this Empress phase. You definitely could feel like you're on top of the world here. That you feel like or not even that you feel like, you know that you have it going on. You're just like, yeah, I got this. Even if, you know, well, that's the thing. It doesn't really feel like, you're going to be moving through any more difficult situations because it's almost like you've purged yourself of those. So I feel like you're coming into a time of like ease. The Empress usually lives a life of ease and softness. I'm curious what's underneath that, Empress. The Hierophant. Ooh. So not only could you be leveling up in terms of your spiritual wisdom, but also there could be a new chapter opening up for you, which we kind of already saw, in terms of your spiritual advancement. But also with that fertile energy, the 10 of Cups, the Hierophant could also be indicating that somebody's going to be so attracted to you embodying this Empress energy. You may attract somebody that wants a long-term commitment with you, like that traditional long-term commitment, either a marriage or something like that. And it's like a byproduct of you just embodying this beautiful, radiant energy that's very infectious. So that's pretty cool if that's something that you want. Pretty darn cool there. Okay, let's go into the Eight of Pentacles now and clarify that. Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you revealing to the collective with that Eight of Pentacles? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you planning on revealing to the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit, with the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, let's see. I know that one of you flips overs in here. Is that the only one that flipped? Flip, flip, Philadelphia. Okay. Let's see now. Okay, so clarifying that Eight of Pentacles, we have the Four of Cups, Six of Swords, Justice, Seven of Wands, and then bottom of the deck we have the Seven of Pentacles. So you have been steadily working at something here, whether a creative project or something else, something more career focused. And honestly, you've been making a whole lot of progress. And it's interesting because I'm looking at this spider and its web in this card. But yeah, I'm looking at the spider with its web in this card depiction. And it's almost like the spider doesn't realize how beautiful its web is because it's so close up to it. And, it serves a purpose for the spider. But other than that, it doesn't really get a outside point of view. But when we're walking by a spider's web and it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen a spider's web like in the sun, and maybe there's like little droplets of, dew or something on the web, and it just glistens in the sunlight and it just looks so beautiful. But if you think about it, the spider doesn't realize it's doing all of that beauty that we perceive. And so when it comes to your work, you may have been so focused on your work, keeping your head down, keeping it pushing, that you may not even realize just how far you've come because you're so close to the perspective. Your perspective is so close to the situation. But if you listened to other people or took a step back and really looked at your work objectively, it's pretty impressive. I'm inclined to say it's very impressive. It's not something you see every day. And something about building it yourself. I feel like this is a part of the reading that's telling you to be really proud of yourself. Not everybody can do this. Not everybody wants to do this. Not everybody intends to do this kind of work. But you have. Again, too, this could be a side message that if you've been working your butt off, you need to rest. Yeah. so that you don't burn yourself out, especially if it's something that you enjoy doing. You don't want to burn yourself out and feel like, that you're losing some sort of, yeah, like something that makes you happy or, you enjoy in some regard. The Four of Cups. To me, this is almost like you working so hard on something that you're not allowing any sort of distractions. And that can actually be a very beautiful thing. But it also could be maybe, well, I guess like anything, everything is fine in moderation, but it needs to be balanced. And so I wonder if it's saying that, that's really good that you're able to block out things because, distractions and whatnot. It seems like you're pretty good at not getting distracted when it comes to your goals. But at the same time, with that Four of Cups, because of the cups, I'm inclined to say that you may be accidentally, I don't think this is intentional, but you may be closing yourself off to happy moments, connecting with others, especially because like the most visible cups in this image are the three in the foreground. And that makes me think of the Three of Cups, which is a card of celebration and reconnecting with friends and stuff in your community. Um, and so I feel like, again, Spirit may be trying to tell you that although this is great that you have this much focus, allow yourself a little wiggle room when it comes to having fun. Allow yourself some wiggle room when it comes to connecting with your friends and maybe celebrations. And hell, maybe it's even a celebration related to that Eight of Pentacles, your own success. Like, even if you haven't met the milestone that you are so heavily focused on, any sort of little success is worth celebrating. And I wonder if maybe even your friends would like to like celebrate you and your own accomplishments and stuff. The Six of Swords is interesting because it almost feels like, the swords, the mental part of that's kind of sticking out to me. And if you've been feeling heavily burdened by something, some sort of information or lack of information, it feels like if your brain has been kind of chaotic and not really allowing you to rest, feels like you're coming into a calmer time in which you will be able to rest much more easily. The things that once stressed you out are no longer going to play a part in this. And you're heading towards calmer waters. So maybe there's something about trusting in that, it's not always going to be so chaotic up here. You will come to a sense of clarity eventually. There's something about purging that I'm feeling. So maybe this is like a purging period at the moment, but because you're doing all the purging now, it's going to actually benefit you long term and allow you to shift more easily into this next phase that is going to be positive and calm. The Justice card also came out. Major for Libra. So things are going to start being balanced again. Also, if something related to justice, like the justice system or something, has been stressing you out, feels like it's going to be going in your favor. Something is logical here. Like it's only logical that you're going to come into this success. It's only logical that you're going to receive a lot of reward for all of your hard work. Something like that. It's like the natural, it's like the natural process, trusting in that natural process. Like, even if you don't see those rewards just yet, they're going to be coming in and it's going to feel like things are finally balancing out for you in a way that makes sense. Like, whatever you're investing your energy into will also invest energy back into you, or, something like that. That's what it feels like to me. More reciprocal sort of environments, more reciprocal communication, connections, all those types of things. Situations in general, they're going to feel more logical, more balanced, more fair. And then the Seven of Wands after that Justice card. This person's standing on the top of the mountain, and I don't know about you, but he looks pretty happy with himself. He seems like he's like, screaming on the top of his lungs, like, I did it, you guys, look at me, woohoo! I'm at the top of the mountain now. And the mountains in the tarot represent challenges, obstacles. And so I think that you're overcoming some sort of huge obstacle, or maybe a barrier that was holding something back for you. It's like you're overcoming this and you're going to feel really good about that, because it's like what was once an obstacle is being cleared away. And that could be something to be proud of as well. The fact that you're overcoming these types of obstacles and you're becoming successful in that. It feels like you're also going to be coming into a time where you feel the success of your efforts. So if you felt like you were just needlessly putting an effort at something and just nothing was, it felt like it was just like a treadmill or, hamster wheel, just not really going anywhere. It feels like now you're going to start seeing that forward progress because you're moving past all of that now. But you could also be very proud of yourself for climbing that mountain. Maybe trusting in the process. Knowing that you can and therefore you do. I also see, if this is some sort of creative project or career, you could be quite protective of it. And that kind of goes back to that hermit energy that I was getting earlier, where you may be self-isolating or even maybe keeping things on the down low. So even if you do come into success, maybe you're kind of protective of who gets to know that and who doesn't. Because maybe you don't want everybody to know that you're successful in something. We all have our reasons for that kind of stuff. It could be good for you in terms of people sending the evil eye or negative energy towards your goals and accomplishments. I lost that train of thought that I was having. But maybe I was done with that. Oh, yeah. So you just might be a little protective of what you have going on right now. And any sort of good fortune that you are attracting or coming into, you may kind of want to keep that not necessarily hidden, but just be selective with who you tell. Which I think you kind of already embodying that energy, because we saw the Four of Cups, which is very good about, it's a very good energy for establishing boundaries. Yeah. And being selective like that, yeah. And then the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. You could be feeling, yeah, it feels kind of like you've been very slow and steady, investing things over a period of time. But for a while, it kind of was starting to look like it's not growing, or it's not going anywhere, or it's not giving you the payoff that you were expecting it to. But it's because you trusted in the process, I think things are actually going to be working out for you very well. I'm curious what's underneath that Seven of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, I think it's going to very quickly suddenly change from I'm putting in all this effort, I'm not seeing any results, to, oh, here are the results to all of my efforts. And you can live in that joy of knowing that you've built this for yourself and you deserve this. I feel like this sense of tranquility and calmness in this new chapter that Spirit's opening up for you. I feel like you're going to just be feeling so good and whole is what I want to say. Because, like, the Nine of Pentacles gives that sense of independence, that ability to really complete yourself, not really needing anybody else to complete you or to play a part in that. Like, you have everything you need within you. And I feel like this new chapter is going to be telling you just that. That's going to be reflecting back to you. Like, wow, I did this for myself and I can support myself. I can, um, you know, turn this into a success. Like, that's awesome. I feel like this sense of just overwhelming gratitude, and maybe not just gratitude for spirit and the universe and the situation or circumstances, but appreciation for yourself. And it's going to be it feels so deep and transformative. Yeah. I want to see what's underneath that Nine of Pentacles. The Tower card. So things are shaking up. I'm curious what's underneath that. Three of Swords. Yeah, you could have been healing from some sort of heartbreak or difficulties. Maybe multiple situations you've been going through back to back and they were painful. Let's see what's underneath that Three of Swords. The Moon card. So that's Pisces. The Tower, Scorpio, I believe. Interesting. The Moon card and then Three of Swords. You could have been healing this behind the scenes where nobody could see, keeping it a secret, keeping it on the down low. But also, I feel like there's a new opening here, or like a new opportunity opening up for you. And there could be a little bit of fear attached to the unknown of it. I'm curious what's underneath that Moon card. Knight of Cups. Okay, so maybe there's an opportunity here that you don't see coming for exploring something romantic with someone who has feelings for you. And you may just be a little hesitant, a little bit fearful because of your past with that Three of Swords. Okay. But positive shifts are coming, even if they don't feel positive at first, because maybe somebody approaches you wanting to, explore something romantically. You may be so overwhelmed in that moment and, stressed at the idea of it that you may think, I don't think this is a good thing. But, with time and patience and letting things unravel naturally, you start to recognize its purpose and that it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. If that makes any sense. Because it feels like you're going to be experiencing your own success, but there is this undercurrent of also attracting a very genuine, loving partner. And because your energy is going to be so different from your past energy, I think that this is going to be somebody that's actually going to treat you the way that you've always wanted to be treated. And it's natural that this would come in because you're in that higher vibration now and you're feeling really good about yourself. I think that Spirit's going to be revealing a lot of good things for you. And it's going to make sense, is what I keep feeling. Like, it'll just make sense, Like, yeah, like that reciprocal energy. I invested into this and now I'm seeing the payoff. At the bottom of this deck is the Four of Swords. It feels like the more you rest, meditate, pray, all of those things, it feels like that's increasing your intuition. It's improving it or intensifying it, making it much more powerful. So that could be part of why Spirit wants you to rest, is like to not wear out your intuition here. Yeah. I'm curious what's underneath that Four of Swords. The Lovers. So I feel like there's something to do with divine timing here. And so it's like not only are you coming into success for yourself, but you're also coming into a soulmate connection. I want to see what's underneath that. Four of Cups. You can see in the reflection. Oh, Lovers is Gemini, by the way, major for Gemini. But Four of Cups, which we saw earlier, and that was more so like, don't distract me, I'm busy. But the basic understanding for the Four of Cups can be about boundary setting and also being really selective with your energy. So those two things could be really serving you. But also maybe it is the fact that you have been so focused on your work and not letting things distract you. That's setting you up for being in alignment with everything good that's coming in that you're attracting. I'm curious what's underneath that Four of Cups. Page of Swords. Ooh, so somebody's watching you. Dare I say it's this person that has feelings for you, that wishes to pursue something with you? Somebody that could be a soulmate, perhaps? So it's like maybe they've been watching you and they're waiting for the right moment to like open up to you. They could find you very intriguing, very interesting, especially if you're very intuitive or spiritual. That adds like a little bit of a mystical charm to you. I'm just curious what's underneath that Page of Swords. Queen of Wands. You're looking very attractive. Yeah. So I think you're going to be attracting a new boo who's actually in alignment with you. Oh, that rhymed. But anyways, I think that's really cool. But you're also just in a very attractive energy. And probably even more so when you feel like you have everything going on for yourself and you're like able to support yourself, you're able to be independent, you're able to create the life you wanted for yourself. And I think it's going to be impossible to ignore this energy that you're stepping into and how it's affecting you in a positive way. And it's affecting your confidence in a positive way too. Yeah. This has been a beautiful reading. Let's break out the oracle, see if there's any additional messages. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else you'd like to reveal for the collective? Anything else that you're revealing to the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else? Anything else? Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else for the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. One more. One more shuffle-uffish. One more shuffle-uffy. We gonna do that. One more shuffle. One more shuffle, baby. And I dropped it. Let me see. Wait. Come on here, you little rascal. Okay. So, let's see. The first card that came out is Time, and this represents presence and self-awareness. That feels to me like meditation. So even in those moments where you want to rest, but for some reason your brain just won't shut off, practicing some mindfulness and meditation could actually help a whole lot, even if you don't notice it in that moment. And the thing about meditation too is the more you practice it, the easier it becomes, the more natural it feels. And I think that meditation can just be helpful for anyone for any various reasons, for a whole multitude of reasons. But definitely feels like, also presence. So I wonder if also Spirit is trying to tell you that you should be in the present moment instead of worrying about the future or, thinking about the past too much. Spirit may want you to just enjoy the present moment because, and because you've been working so hard, there may be little things that, would make your day a little bit brighter if you notice them, if that makes any sense. Like, I think of the example of taking time to smell the flowers or whatever. If you're just like so super focused on, goals and whatever you have right in front of you, that, maybe you miss that bush of flowers that smells really good, just as an example. Like you may miss something by not being in the present moment is what I feel. Also, the gem is standing out to me in that Time image. Looks like a peridot, which I believe is the stone for August. And I think, yeah, the only way I know that is because of my birthday. um, it could definitely be a completely different stone that they're depicting here, but that's what it looks like to me, peridot. Um, green peridot, light green peridot. But the gem is what I feel like you could be missing in the present moment. Is like you may be so focused on collecting the time here that you're completely ignoring the gem in front of you. So there could be something in your immediate surroundings or in general that if you kept an eye out for it, or you were simply aware, more aware in the present moment, you would see something really beautiful, or there would be something of value that you could get out of the present moment and kind of just being in the present moment without a whole lot of external stimuli and internal chaos. And then we have the moon card, and this represents phases, cycles, and intuition. So yeah, your intuition is being heightened during this time quite significantly. Phases and cycles, though, it feels like you're closing out some cycles and opening new ones that are going to be much more higher vibrational on your spiritual path, almost feeling like they're meant to be. They kind of naturally fall into their place here. That's what it feels like, is almost like you are becoming a magnet for good things, and it's going to feel natural. It's going to feel like, logical almost. Like, of course these things would come to me because you're embodying that right energy. You've been doing the proper work here. I'm also thinking of like a literal moon. There could be something that has to do with the moon cycles too. Maybe it's something helpful to kind of watch the moon cycles and kind of maybe map that, or maybe compare the moon cycles to your state of like mental health at that time, or how you're feeling, how life is going. And maybe you can kind of get an idea of how the phases of the moon affect you to some extent. But that's only for some people that, I guess want to take the time to do that. But that could be helpful for someone. It's like, okay, I know the full moon's coming up, so maybe I should just try and take it as easy as possible until the full moon passes or whatever. Um, or, whatever it is for you. Doesn't have to be that specifically. Um, that's interesting. I see the moon in your eyes. That feels romantic, and that feels like you spending quality time with somebody up close and personally. So I think that your intuition could be telling you that a good soulmate's on its way, and maybe you feel like this cycle of attracting the wrong types of people is coming to an end, and you're starting a new cycle in which people that are actually in your vibration actually, compare to you in your energy. Like you're more aligned to meaningful connections. But I don't know why. That moon card is just sticking out to me. Like I see somebody really gazing into your eyes very lovingly. The moon and stars, maybe that's what somebody would say. They see in your eyes the moon and stars. Yeah, that's kind of cute, kind of romantic. Bottom of the deck, we have the pine tree, and this represents vitality, longevity, and perseverance. That's so great because I think that's exactly what you've been doing. Vitality, so that's definitely another indication to take some time to rest, of course. Longevity, so I feel like the things coming in for you are not going to be short term. These are going to be things that are going to stick around for a long time. And if they're positive, you know, that's going to be pretty cool. Um, yeah, so maybe trust that nobody can take these away from you, these blessings, these things that you're naturally attracting to you because they're meant for you. Nobody else can take them, nobody else can sabotage them. So if that was something that you were worried about, there's something about like maybe trusting that people can't really mess with these blessings as easily as maybe people mess with things in your past. I feel like that's a message of reassurance from spirit there. And perseverance, I think you've definitely been persevering. And you're coming into a time in which you're going to feel like it makes sense. Like finally, all of my hard work is paying off for me. Things are starting to go my way. Things maybe even like you start to feel like, okay, spirit, you're actually noticing me and all my hard work. Or, like the universe actually can see that I'm working, really hard at this. And so they're giving me these blessings. Like it's something about that. I feel like you're going to feel like grateful for so many things, I feel, because it feels like a multitude of good things that are coming in for you. It's beautiful. Okay, so that is the reading. I really hope you enjoyed this. And if it resonated at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.